We've done molarity calculations. We've figured out how many moles go in a certain volume of solution, and then we've also figured out to calculate how many grams to make that certain molarity of a solution at a certain volume. And so now we need to understand how to do that in the lab. So in your notebook, in your workbook, we have this lab technique page, and you can take notes on this, but I'm going to do this live. It's easier to understand when you see it happening. So the first thing we need to understand is that molarity is the amount of solute per solution. And this is where the problem comes in. It's solute per solution, not solute per solvent. When you make a solution, you have to use the proper lab equipment. Right here I have volumetric flasks. These guys are 25 milliliter volumetric flasks, and this is a 100 milliliter volumetric flask. And what you may or may not be able to see, but I'm going to put it up close, is this line here. So on every volumetric flask, there is a line on the thin neck of the flask. And these are because this piece of equipment is calibrated so you can measure exactly that amount of solution. And because it's thinner here, I can get a more accurate measurement. So I would make my solution up to this line to make 25 milliliters. So here's the problem that happens. People will fill this flask up to 25 milliliters with their solvent. So here I have exactly 25 milliliters of my solution. And watch what happens to that volume as I put my solute in. This is sugar, and you can see it's dissolving in well. This is true, but now do I have 25 milliliters of solution? You can see that line, and I no longer have 25 milliliters of solution. I have more. This means the molarity I calculated for this solution is no longer accurate, because remember, you calculated the molarity for 25 milliliters of solution, not 25 mils of solute. So what you should do is you should fill up your volumetric flask part way with your solvent, and then you can dissolve your solute in there. And you want to make sure that it's all dissolved before you get your final measurement on that solvent. Okay? So the reason is because sometimes your volume can change just with the dissolution, and then you will measure out exactly 25 milliliters with your solute dissolved, and that will give you 25 milliliters of solution, which is what you're going for. So here I added it before. It's not all dissolved, but we pretend it is. And here I added it after. If I add my solute after I've measured my solvent, I won't get the exact measurement of solution, and my molarity will be incorrect.